This year's Spotify Wrapped is so much worse than you think.
You had an oak, campfire, smoke, frozen port, abandoned toolshed, sap moment.
You mean I listened to Noah Khan?
I was your number one Western artist. Me, gay.
Let's not forget, September 11th. Looks like you had a pretty epic day.
Spotify Wrapped is a highly anticipated pop culture moment for music fans, podcast listeners, and creators. After waiting all year long, the 2024 Spotify Wrapped release left people feeling pretty disappointed. Let's talk about the cultural significance of Spotify Wrapped and break down exactly what went wrong for 2024. The first version of Spotify Wrapped actually went by a different name. They called it Spotify's Year in Music, an initiative launched in 2015. It showed 3 stats: your top artists, your most listened to songs, and your total listening time for the year. There was also general data available showing which songs were most popular for users overall. It didn't really take off. It wasn't until 2019 when Spotify Wrapped actually started to gain traction. During this time, Apple Music created their Wrapped alternative called Apple Music Replay, which should point to the commercial success of Spotify Wrapped. Imitation truly is the most sincere form of flattery. There were so many cool insights in the 2019 version of Spotify Wrapped. It was a really special version because it was the first time that we got access to data like the Decade Recap, which showed long-term subscribers how their listening habits have changed over the years. What other company could do this? I know Apple Music didn't have 10 years of streaming data, and it revealed who's been our longest-standing top artist during that 10-year period. They also shared geographical data, which was an interesting one. You could find out exactly how many different countries' music you had listened to during the year. Part of the reason why Spotify was so successful engaging its users was because they centered their marketing narrative around its users. A casual listener might not care what the most played song was of the year. That's just industry news. But they definitely care about which songs they played most that year. Then you tack on additional badges of honor, like the notification that says, "You're in the top 1% of fans for Sabrina Carpenter." Now you've got something to brag about. And oh, did people brag. Spotify Wrapped practically took over Instagram stories every time that it dropped. When you post your Spotify Wrapped on your Instagram story, that's an example of organic content, which is like a wet dream for any PR department. Organic content just means that the content was shared without having to pay for the placement. Spotify Wrapped made so many people genuinely want to post about Spotify without having to spend a dime on influencers or advertisers. Spotify innovated for years, adding new features like the zodiac signs of your most listened to artists, and the Soundtown, which is where your taste in artists aligns most with the overall listening trends in that area. But I think the coolest feature that they've ever come out with is the Me and 23 listening personalities. When this initially came out, I didn't pay much attention to it, but doing the research for this video, I actually think it's a really good idea, and I should have paid attention to it. Now I want to know what my listening personality was. Me in 2023 analyzed our personalities by digging into our listening habits and assigning us a character. Like, if you listen to a ton of emotional and atmospheric songs, then your listening personality is the vampire. Or if you're always searching for new music and listening to new stuff, then they call you the hunter. These are some of the most creative and engaging ways to present boring old listening data. Spotify was really killing it. And then Wrapped 2024 came out. The fall of Spotify Wrapped. Okay, maybe the fall of Spotify Wrapped is a little bit dramatic, but look at these headlines. Hate your Spotify Wrapped? You aren't alone. Spotify users slam worst Wrapped after long wait. Boring, underwhelming, flopped. How could Spotify have fallen so far so fast? When I first saw people talking about Wrapped 2024 being a flop, I thought it was because people were tiring of the whole data shtick. I mean, after seeing these recaps for like 5 years in a row, I don't really care how many minutes of music I've listened to anymore. But the key complaint from users actually surprised me. It was actually the lack of statistics that upset most people. Users have grown accustomed to seeing things like their top genres of music and their top albums of the year. And this year, we didn't get either. Not only were they lacking on cold hard data, but they also failed to tell a compelling story about our listening habits. Spotify introduced Music Evolution. It gave us this gibberish, keyword salad type of title for each month of the year. For example, January was your after-hours football rap moment. Does anyone know what that means? One of the most popular phrases was Pink Pilates Princess. The music evolution was an attempt to connect people with the micro genres that they listen to, but it just came off as overly customized and ultimately meaningless. You can't give users a bunch of niche genre tags without putting them into context. The concept of giving users a look at their different eras of music throughout the year is a good one, but I think this was kind of a missed opportunity for community building. Okay, I'm a Pink Pilates princess. So what? Spotify should have at least shared a more detailed description of how these titles were calculated. I don't think anyone knows what this means, but it would have been cool if they took it a step further and offered us, like, I don't know, an exclusive playlist or some sort of exclusive content that only the people in that certain group would have access to. Speaking of exclusive content and promotions, they did bring back artist messages. We saw this in our Wrapped last year. Artist messages are short videos created by your most listened to artist that I think is supposed to be a way for the artists to thank their fans for listening to them all year. I think for certain fans, this feature is amazing. Like, I could see a 10-year-old me freaking out that I listen to enough Justin Bieber that I'm a part of this elite group that gets some special content and a direct message from Justin himself. But unless you're a massive stan for the artist, this isn't a huge perk. Plus, some of these artist videos were crazy.
Hey, Spotify listeners. Thanks for listening this year. Good sandwich.
I don't know exactly what Spotify asked the artist to prepare, but I feel like not all of them understood the assignment.
Much. I hear that I am an artist that you listen to often, which I'm very thankful for.
Kitty cat, run, run, run. I'm the dog in the bins with the big chrome gun, looking for a coochie.
Hi everyone, this is Sam Smith here. I'm in the laundromat.
The videos are very low effort and they have very little substance to them. And I'm not bringing this up to bully the artists. I don't think it's the artist's fault at all. I think that Spotify's decision to bring back artist messages kind of highlights a bigger trend that's going on in the music industry. And that's that large media companies and record labels are sort of forcing musicians to become part-time content creators. For example, it's much harder, dare I say impossible, to get signed with a record label without having a certain minimum number of followers across platforms. Many musicians have expressed a distaste for the shift in the industry. Producing music and promoting music are two totally different jobs, and the skills aren't necessarily transferable. You used to rely on your label to promote your music, but now the expectations of musicians are to be this one-man business. You need to be able to produce the music, distribute the music, and create an online community that's engaged enough that the people who follow you want to pay for your music. It's a tall order, but the music and entertainment industries are colliding in new and different ways. So we have to rethink how we monetize entertainment. To complicate things further, AI is here. 2024 Wrapped also included a collaboration with Google's new AI tool, Notebook LM. Notebook LM is a really exciting new product. It's able to summarize information and create this really engaging and realistic podcast that you can listen to. Spotify used Notebook LM as the delivery method for some music data. Incredible AI tool, but this plug and chug approach didn't come without its mistakes.
Let's not forget September 11th. Looks like you had a pretty epic day. 421 minutes. That's like a whole workday of music.
Oh my god. Oops. Let's not forget September 11th. Yeah, but not for the reason you're talking about.
Well, 7 hours straight. I wonder, were you at home, at the gym, on a road trip? What was the occasion?
Whatever it was, it sounds like you had the perfect soundtrack.
The perfect soundtrack. There were some funny flubs too.
He's just so good.
But it wasn't just Elliott Smith Panic at the Dick.
Did you hear that?
Smith Panic at the Dick. The disco was back in the mix.
It wasn't just Panic at the Dick. Oh my god. How does that even happen? And then AI really struggled to say the title of the song, What You Mean, in parentheses, AAA.
You switched it up to what I like to call bougie football rap.
Yeah, Future's Mask Off, J. Cole's Workout, and Day Day's What You Mean. I It's giving me serious confidence.
I don't know, man. I feel like they could have checked. These were just the mistakes that I could find online. I'm sure there were much more weird podcasts. So where does this leave Spotify Wrapped? 2024 Wrapped was a bit of a letdown, but despite it all, we're still talking about it. And I think that people will always love sharing their favorite music from the year. Even before we had data to support our claim to an artist, there have always been people bragging about being the #1 fan. So there's still an opportunity for Spotify to get it right in 2025. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. What did you guys think about Spotify Wrapped this year? Did you love it? Were you disappointed? Did you have something funny come up in your Notebook LM podcast? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to hear me talk more. Thanks for watching.